Live from the Walt Disney World Resort in Orlando, Florida, it's Boys Love Boys Planet!
Law, Yoon Mi-rae, and Bibi. We've got Han Yoo-jin, Nak Hamden, Park Han-bin, Wang Ji-ho, and Ie-dam
As the center.
as center.
I have to come clean. I have to speak my truth. Truth to power. I woke up right when this song started performing. Like, my eyes were opening, and Ye-dam was beginning the song. And I was like, oh, God.
Oh, slay.
So in the wee hours of the morning, and like absolutely no energy whatsoever, I was like, this was an incredible performance. So when everybody was like, Zoom should have won, Law wasn't even that good, da-da-da, I was like, I thought it was great. Like, I understood why it could have won. I rewatched it today, and I thought it's not as solid as I remembered it being on my first half-awake watch.
I think stylistically it was a good song, and I think that's probably what drew the live attention. Because if you see that song live, you're going to be like, oh my God, that blew me away. Because it's like strong moves. Wang Ji-ho is like dancing like a maniac, and Ye-dam was like dancing like a maniac. And they all looked like that.
Yoon has like a Felix moment where he has like a bass.
Dips down
and I was like,
lower octave. Yeah. So I can see like why.
Your 16-year-old ass.
It's so like fourth gen power song. I'm happy that Hanbin won. Like that he got.
Okay, this is the question. Who's your number one? 1, 2, 3. Camden.
Hanbin. I'll pick Hanbin. Although this was the best that I've seen Camden.
Yeah. I just thought I love Hanbin. Park Hanbin is famously in my like our Bai King, our screaming king. I love him. I thought he was like a little too smiley in this, and I wanted like Camden was giving you like serious, which I kind of wanted a little bit more.
Hanbin was like mischievous, but Camden was like, I'm gonna fuck you up. Yes, mask.
I don't want to talk about Camden. We're just gonna move on. He did a great job. I thought all of them actually did a really good.
also did a great job for me.
Well, yeah, and Yoojin too. Yoojin, like, that was the backstory. Is Yoojin was like, I feel very anxious around Master Bake, and then like he gave him a compliment, so he's like, I like him now, which is very funny. Conversation online, like, is it Master Bake or is it that Yoojin isn't old enough to handle some of the stuff yet? And I think
it's a mix of both.
It's a mix of both, to be honest. I think there is that moment in the like first episode where Yoojin, somebody's like, he dances like you, and so now he like Mr. Bake like sees some of himself in Yoojin.
Yeah.
And it's a thing that like people who see themselves in younger versions of them or whatever, where they like
Adam,
where they start to be like, like try to tell them how to do it the way that they wish they had done it themselves, potentially.
Like maybe in like musical theater in a way, maybe like a director maybe feels that way to one of their students. Yeah, I agree.
And maybe Yoojin would be handling it better and be able to like brush it off a little more if he was like not.
I also wonder if
there's developing his frontal lobe cortex.
I wonder if there's also a little bit of like, if you really want to be in this business, then you got to learn how to like take these comments. Let's not sugarcoat things, because I want them to know that like this is going to be how hard it will be if you want to be an idol. Let's do the other vocal rap, which is Man in Love by Infinite. We have Choi Woo-jin, Jung Min-gyu, Lee Dong-yeon, and Timothy taerae. If
you all, everyone here does not vote for taerae at least once, you're out of your minds. He sounds so good. Maybe it's just me.
No, he sounded great. He sounded supported. It sounded good. He sounded nuanced, healthy. And here's the thing. He even got notes that was like, you're singing too much like a ballad. Pop it a little bit, like soften it a little bit, have fun with it a little bit, and he did. It sounded like it fit. Because their note was like, you all sound like different people singing the song.
Yeah.
And at the end, it sounded like
and then it sounded like a unit plus Mingyu singing a song. Yeah. I agree. We're all on the same page.
But honestly, even Mingyu was giving like, I'm gonna be the hype man. At least the lines that I have are like
It's so crazy that he just knows the energy like he's very aware of like what he can provide and chooses to provide that.
Yeah.
Which is like what's
The
really
confidence.
cool about the whole situation.
When we make jokes about like the confidence of straight white men, I imagine Mingyu is the healthy version of that, where it's like
famously a straight white man.
famously
Mingyu.
a straight
famously white Mingyu.
This is probably one of my favorite vocal performances so far with Boys Planet.
Yeah, I agree.
taerae.
Also Dongyal does a really good. I would say he's probably the second if I had to choose. We didn't even say who we picked, but it's obvious it's taerae. But I would say if I chose one other person instead of taerae, which I wouldn't, but it would be Dongyal. Because he's so good in this,
I
too.
might listen to Attention after this, because he was really good.
Yeah. We want to see your beautiful eyes.
Majin Xiang,
Yes.
Hiroto,
Yes.
Takuto, leader Oh Sung-min, and Killing Part 2, Ricky. Love Ricky.
Okay,
This was one of the sad ones.
start.
We'll start there.
This is tough. Let's start with the number we thought did the best.
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Wait, hold on.
Actually, I need to
actually
think about it. 1, 2, 3. Ricky.
Hiroto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
I
Ricky,
think that's the right two that do. I think they do the best. Oh Sung-min is also very stable, but I just don't think
you can tell he was stressed.
well, I think my biggest issue with Sung-min is he is not a performer that stands out. Like he doesn't command the stage.
He's an ensemble member.
He's a chorus boy. Absolutely. I loved him in Newsies. So we have obviously two groups that we're going to mainly focus on in terms of like their backstage content. It's this and the other one that you all know, Majin Xiang.
Majin Xiang just kept saying like we were running out of time. We need to learn the dance.
Right.
And Ricky and even Sungmin were like, no, we can save learning the dance later. We can just do more of the formations and like have to choreograph a number. I don't know if it was because Majin Xiang is just also a slow learner like Takuto, that he felt like he needed to make sure that that was set first before he could like do anything else. But it seemed like he kept trying to talk to Ricky and explain to him what was wrong.
Yeah.
And Ricky having to like translate to Sungmin while at the same time tell Majin Xiang his opinions, which I think drove the rift of why they were mad
This
at each other.
is probably the most that's like the problem is the language barrier.
Yeah.
Who looks bad, who looks good, right, when you're setting up these types of narratives. So, like, who do you think in this situation comes off better? I think, here's my take.
Between Majin Xiang and Ricky or just in the whole situation? Because I think Sungmin obviously came out the best.
I think Sungmin comes off the best. But between Majin Xiang and Ricky, I think Ricky comes off a little bit better.
Yeah.
It was hard because this issue really felt like it was like we're just down to like stress because of time. And it is funny when you go, because they released that like hour clip of like each of the rooms on MNET Plus.
Training and practicing. Majin Xiang was dancing the entire time. He was fully just on his own.
And like
practicing.
the rest of them were not. So I do understand if like Majin Xiang's whole thing is like no one's I'm the only one practicing and all of you are just like hanging around. I mean, I don't know. It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough when you have to run your own situation. Like you have to have a really strong leader. And I think that Oh Sung-min did probably the best he could do. I don't know who in that group I would have made the leader instead. This probably was my favorite looks, though. Well, like my favorite fun like concept of costumes.
That beanie that Sungmin is wearing.
Oh my god!
I want.
There's the two clips. There's the fight going on, and then the camera moves closer, and Ricky and Sungmin like clock that the camera comes in, and they're like, "Shit,
oh god, we're gonna be edited in the show." As like
welcome to the edit.
It really just feels like they all clash personalities.
Yeah.
And I do feel bad for. I understand why Takuto cried, and also why I feel like just the mangne is it's hard, especially when you're seeing people like seeing conflict this up close, especially for Takuto who had to go through this again. Yeah. So I'm sure he's just like, my fate is always in the hands of people that don't get along.
Yeah. And like he has a lot of pressure. I mean, I feel bad for the mangne, obviously, whenever we do any of this, because it's just so. You're also at that age where like everything is like the most dramatic thing that's ever happened to you in your life.
You don't have the foresight to like step back and see like, oh, this is just something in this moment.
But I will say this is like where the Yujin Takuto divide is. If they're like a very similar age, which they are, Yujin at least can like handle things happening and not it'll phase him mentally, but like he'll save that for later. Whereas like Takuto bursting into tears because his Hyungs were like fighting. Was like you're just not ready to handle that kind of like, because it's gonna happen no matter what. The group could come out like it could be a perfect debut group, and they're still gonna be fighting sometimes because you're going to have interpersonal conflict at any point. So.
And especially probably seeing
tough.
Two people fight and not understand what they're fighting about.
Yeah.
So you're just like...
Well, and the other thing too is like they didn't know what they were fighting about because they wouldn't, like Majin Shang kept being like, let's just keep going. I don't want to talk about it anymore.
And Ricky's like, but...
But also, like, Majin Shang in his defense, yes, he doesn't want to talk about it, but also, like, because talking about it requires a translation and a translation and a translation. Like, it takes 3 times longer to have this conversation when, like, the conversation probably at the end isn't going to help anybody. I did like that they resolved it in the dorms.
That they were like, let's take the time and be like, this is very stressful, but the more we don't listen to each other, the more we're going to be unprepared.
Recording. Let's do Limousine. Let's talk about Limousine. So here's the thing. Their whole backstory was that they are like the forgotten...
Edited out.
Misedited. Right.
Coming to the stage.
Little misedited. I thought it was really good. I thought this performance was really good. I liked that they made it about what they...
themselves.
What they know.
And I did like that Jihu was like, this is what this song is about. Let's take it to what we know and what we've experienced here in the show. It's getting a little like Sugar Prodigy from Jihu. And just like the words and like how he can convey through rap.
Okay, on the count of 3, it's probably obvious, but who is our number 1 pick?
Okay,
1, 2, 3.
Christian.
Jihu. Oh!
I really
That's not a bad... That would be my other choice.
Like Jihu took this opportunity to like, okay, I'm going to air my grievances, but and also still give you like... I can't say that word because we're in Disney, but... Because there was that moment where he was on the microphone with the spotlight and just like serving. And he knew how to make his voice sound perfectly for the song.
Christian is so good, but everything feels like he's putting on a thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like it's truly him. But it's still really good.
But
so
that's
it's
the
hard.
thing.
It's hard. It's that finding that like balance of like.
I think this is the closest we've gotten to see what he really is all about.
This was really good. It was just a really good performance.
It was really good for all of them. And I know I have not been talking about Miss Anthony, and yes, Miss Anthony was off the beat in the beginning, but she was a little excited. But she did sound really good here too. Like she had a really good control between her belt, and hers, and going into head voice.
Yeah.
That I thought this was a really solid group. It was really rewatchable for me.
It's very rewatchable. It's a very strong performance, and it really shows. It's so cool that they got to like express how they feel.
Yeah.
It's
and
definitely
not just like
it's definitely
do
a performance
cover.
where like if they go home after this, at least this is like a real like it's a really solid like we really did something.
Yeah.
It's really good. It's really good. Bonjour for France.
Bonjour for France.
We figured we'd talk about the one beret song. It is High 4 and IU's Not Spring Love or Cherry Blossoms, a song I had never heard of before.
But we love IU Sambeni.
We love IU.
Ichan, Bakdoa, and Idao.
Let's start with who is the best. I'm interested to see.
1, 2, 3.
Bakdoa.
Ichan.
So neither of us chose Idao, which is like the true crime of the century.
You look
I
so
still liked this
crazy
performance.
with his ears.
What do you mean?
There were people on Twitter that were like, "Oh, they could sing? Yes, girl, because the song's in their range. Of course they can sing."
Yeah.
Now, barely any choreography, and let's keep it that way.
Yeah.
You know, K-pop is a multitude of genres. You don't need to be dancing all the
Sure.
time.
It's not just one thing.
Yeah.
I'm looking for whole concept, and I think Ichan doesn't fit cute concept.
There was a little bit of like he was hesitant.
Isn't comfortable doing a love song yet?
Yeah.
Because I mean that's fair.
Bakdoa was the one who was fully in the moment.
I loved
in
Bakdoa's
the
outfit
song.
the most too. Besides Dell's beret. Here's what I will say. It's hard to do like objectively. You're doing a bunch of K-pop songs and there's high performance energy ones and then you're doing like a few ballads. Like it's hard to bring that same energy and the audience kind of feels that.
Right.
At least they still had to vote for like who was the best of each style of song because at
Right.
least the styles typically matched. Although I would say Tomboy didn't really match the others, so they kind of had like a lead. Although Chris
and they made it sound like different than Tomboy too.
Yeah.
If it sounded different.
Well, they had to regender it because, my God, we can't use the same genders from the original girl group version.
Yeah. It was giving me Wanu. He looked like Wanu.
Wow, I don't
He
know
had
if
the
that's
same,
like
it was the like
an
stoic.
insult to Wanu.
No, it was like stoic rapping. Like,
Sure.
Very, just I am in this moment, and I'm glad that he took that note of like, don't try to like rap it. Just like there's a charm about you.
We said it in the Q&A, but I feel bad for Dowell.
I just feel bad that it happened so early for him.
Yeah.
That now I think he's gonna go.
I want him to be an actor. For
Don't
sure.
stick to your strengths.
For sure. Like the wizard in Wicked, but in like 40 years. So 40 years from now, Dowell, we'll see you on that stage. Is it DuckTales?
Maybe. Okay, that's fine. We'll just be.
It's so shocking.
I'll
As
be
we
a big
remember,
fan.
from last episode, the girls did not know who was going to take the killing part. Basically, main vocals. Who was going to be main vocals?
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, it's too out of my range. Now, why did we pick it? We don't know. Shuaibo had volunteered, not super earnestly, but had volunteered. Shuaibo, like, oh my God, checked out.
This.
Just checked out. Senioritis.
Solji, the vocal master, was like, if you don't want help, we can't help you.
Yeah.
If you don't want to do this, then there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
Because they even offered, like, we can lower it for you so you can sing it. And then he was like, no.
I just don't want it at all.
I just don't want it.
He wanted to be the 10th member of Twice. He wanted to, like, fade into the background, but still, like, do the song.
He wanted the fulfillment of being in the song without putting in the
Right.
work. Which, like, if it's a 4-person group, it's the spirit of Shuaibo. You have to pull in the weight, I feel like.
Yeah.
And I just don't think he was really mature enough to understand that. Unlike Woongi, who has
done this
debuted before,
yeah.
has been in a group, and it's like, it's not even about what we can and can't do. Sometimes we just have to do it and figure it out and make it work.
This is also, there was, like, the moment with Chai Jin-shin where Chai Jin-shin was like, well, they'll just edit us to make it still look good.
Then the vocal master calling them out at the end.
Oh my God.
During the dress rehearsal, and was like, do you think they're just going to edit you the good parts out? Because that's not how it works. You still have to perform the song. So it just wasn't built up for them.
It is crazy that the performance ends up being, it's Woongi's solo with, like, 3 backup singers.
Yes. Okay, Shuaibo wins. Shuaibo got first.
Shuaibo got the audience pick for number 1.
Woongi was working on the entire chorus and did the choreography. It seemed like he was working hard, but like it didn't look effortless because of it, because he had so much to do.
Well, I
It's
wonder
like
if the people in
struggling.
the audience were like, oh my God, he just made this whole song about him. Not knowing the backstory of, like, he...
Because they probably had like, oh, Woongi's the one that's like love girl groups, and
Right.
he probably wanted to take all of this. The worst part was that K-Nuts were like, I feel bad for Woongi. I'm finally voting for him. Girl, it's the last day of voting.
I know. I just feel so bad for, honestly, even Shuaibo, because, like, people have been dragging for getting picked number 1.
And also dragging him for being like, well, the song was never explained to us, and then immediately cut to Woongi explaining the song. Listen,
The way the editors were like, okay, so Christian and Anthony literally just dragged us for editing, and we are not going to have this again. So
let's show them the
let's
receipts.
show them the receipts. God.
Listen, at that moment, Shuaibo maybe checked out. Maybe there wasn't a translator. Maybe it was hard. Maybe he didn't know. Maybe he genuinely didn't know. But the evidence is not kind to Shuaibo.
It's like, it's always about, like, how much effort they put in to, like,
Yeah.
show you their best stages.
They always apologize.
They always apologize.
At the end because they want the next one to be better.
And I think we're so used to that level of effort that when, like, Shuaibo
I'm not crying,
puts in,
by the way. I'm just, sunscreen is in my eye.
That when Shuaibo really acts like a normal person and is
It's
like, I'm over it,
hyper-focused.
girl.
Yeah.
Like, because that's how I be. It feels crazy.
Because it's not
'Cause no
quote unquote
one else
idle
does this,
behavior.
yeah. So, I mean, we could examine that, but I don't think we're going to solve that on Boys Planet. to be
I think
fair.
it's just unfortunate that Woongi was the brunt of all of it, because he's the one who, I would say out of all of them, probably has the highest stakes, maybe? I don't know. At least
Of
with
the
what we
4 of
see.
them, yeah.
So
for
he
sure.
really wanted to make this work. Here's our hot take. Shuaibo won, but who was our first Adam? 1,
Donggun.
2, 3. It's Donggun. Now, Donggun was a
Donggun was
Twice
performing.
member.
What is Donggun tone deaf? Who knows? That's not for me to decide.
But
What? Just go back.
This
Woongi
really-
objectively was like
the best.
the best because he had the most to do,
And, like,
and
this-
he created the like
He created
was
choreography.
the leader.
He created a true story for the song. He was doing what was Butterfly doing,
Right.
but just no one was in the same headspace as he was.
Yeah. A quear narrative.
It
in
really
like,
was.
In like
In,
the
like,
song is about like you make me
You make me feel like
special.
special. How
Wow.
how
deep.
how deep.
Depth. When everybody finds out Shuaibo got first place, and the rest of the
No
reactions
one
in the
is
back
happy.
were
They're
like
like, Anthony didn't clap.
Anthony
Anthony's
like
a real one.
side-eyed. It was incredible.
Anthony's a real one. Anthony protects her baby girl.
I don't know what we're gonna do, guys. We might end this podcast because Woongi's not in the show anymore.
But
We should do the butterfly.
should we go to the
pavilion.
butter. We'll do
stop.
that as viral. We'll do it viral.
Okay.
Okay, we're here to talk about Butterfly.
Butterfly performance. So heading into Butterfly,
Chen Kwan Ri, Kong, Brian, and Junso.
Lim Junso was not feeling very confident.
Yeah.
Chen Kwan Ri as mother
Mother.
was mothering, which we love to see. This might be
This is your favorite?
my favorite performance. It's catered to me. I understand like objectively like there are other performances that were better.
Yeah.
But it was the most like musical theater kind of performance, like the most like artistic performance. It felt like Chen Kwan Ri.
I can choreograph. I know how to do like lyrical dance. We got this in the bag. It was really cool to see them like take the notes of the Star Masters really well. They were like laughing, like having fun, but I like that they were like, we're laughing because you guys are getting better. And now we're just able to like have fun with you and dial it back with you.
I mean, we chose the worst location to stand.
Yeah, on the ramp.
On the ramp, I thought they interpreted the song the best.
Yeah.
If the challenge was to really like make it your own performance. Okay, on the count of three, this is probably not going to surprise anybody. 1, 2, 3. Chen Kwan Ri. When he jumped from laying down
good.
and was how? Like what?
And honestly, like, Junso wasn't even that bad. I watched the fan cam again, and I didn't hear the crack or anything, or, like, him being sharp. Guys, if Kong doesn't make it, I'm gonna be so sad, and he's not gonna. No, I'm gonna stay positive. We're staying positive. Final girl is vocal rap G-Idol's Tomboy, starring Lee Taek, Sung Hanbin, Park Gonuk, and Zhang Hao.
First of all, let's say this. Let's lean in close. The fact that we is like the weakest part of this performance is truly crazy.
Yeah. That's just between us.
Pentagon
girls.
stands.
Don't
Pentagon-
tell the
Pentagon-
don't tell the stands.
No. But even then, like, still, it's like weakest for this, but like,
Yeah, they were-
it's probably
it's-
one of the best. Like,
Best performances they've done in the show. My number one is Zhang Hao. The audience was right. He deserved all of those votes. He deserved all of those points. He was giving Kanti the most.
I'm gonna say
he was the most he had the most gender, where he was like,
giving gender.
he was the one who was like, I am mask, I am femme,
I'm-
all in one number and one performance.
We're
and I'm giving you all of
we're
it.
vacillating between genders.
Yeah, and his vocals sounded really good.
His vocals truly the best. He's a
Vocals
very strong vocalist.
were very strong and stable.
People are sleeping on the
Yeah.
vocals.
So I'm not worried anymore about like we need
Okay,
vocals.
so
in
my
the-
hot take is that Ganok is the best part of this performance.
You're just pushing the Ganuk is princess narrative, which
See, listen. Now, did he wear my favorite color, pink?
yeah,
Sure did.
was his arms out? Were the arms?
Were the
Were the
arms
Ganuks,
arming?
Were the Ganuks out?
Gunning? Yes. I just thought he was so good, and I really liked that bit when he like
He does the
thing to the camera.
Yeah, you get the song right. You get
Yeah.
which is just so funny. This song is about like a girl not being girly.
No, it makes
And
no
yet,
sense.
this interpretation is like, we're gonna give you the most masculine,
right.
quote unquote,
Butch queen.
Butch queen.
Right. We're giving you
Butch
Butch Queen realness.
Category is Butch queen.
Congratulations to
Yeah.
everybody involved. I think I liked that he was the reason that they all came off their podiums. Because there was a moment where I
Yes.
was like, they're not going to be on this the whole time, right? Because then I would have been like,
And then
what are we
Ganuk
doing?
like broke that.
Right. So they're so comfortable and they're so confident, and it like genuinely feels like watching somebody who is already. It's like watching people who are already debuted.
In their
That's what it
most
feels like.
comfortable, they are performing the best.
Yes.
Which is just like, at that point, then just debut the girls.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because Hanbin is literally like, quote unquote, no one. I mean, like, he's
Wow.
Like previously to the show.
Sure.
Like his narrative is like, I was a backup dancer. I went from
I was a
agency to agency.
I was a cube trainee for a bit.
And now my agency is 5 employees.
Right.
Me, one of them. I have to buy the Keurigs.
Right.
Cups in
Right.
the morning.
I'm making the coffee in the morning.
Coffee.
I'm making the ahas.
Yes. Can't wait to make him the it boy,
Okay, so
honestly.
the true narrative. Here's what we have to talk about, guys.
Anna, don't do this.
Was I silent or was I silenced? That is the question. Last week, roll the clip, RJ. Roll the clip.
Zhang Hao is in love with
Uh-huh.
That's what
Hanbin.
I said. I said that last week. And people online, and I'm done talking about this, but this is what I want to say. People online were like, blah, blah, blah. First of all, I don't care. Second of all, it doesn't matter. Third of all, I really hate that when you say like insinuate people are gay in K-pop, people will be like, well, they're not, or like, they're whatever. And then the insinuation is like, because it would be bad. Like, why are you so defensive about it? Like, it gets weird in that way. But whatever, fine. That's not what anybody was specifically saying, but whatever.
I'm just gonna
Why
put
did-
all
why
of.
did- why-
I'm just gonna put all the evidence around you right now.
What is that? What's that right here? This scene. Why is there mood lighting? Why are we
Hanbin uses the word for like couple for a couple.
Yeah. What's that?
And Zhang Hao's like, oh no, don't say that. That means you like me in that way.
What is it about Hanbin in this comment here where he was like, the only reason I wanted to do this song was because I wanted to perform with Zhang Hao? What's all this, guys? What's all this? Is it platonic? Sure, could be. Absolutely. 100%. RJ and I were once platonic friends as well. I just want to say that as well.
We were
So,
roommates, just
we
like
were
Zhang Hao and
roommates.
Hanbin. And then
And we took naps together
We took-
as roommates. That's all I want to say. That's all I want to say.
we're not saying anything.
Anything can happen. The world has a multitude of possibilities. Endless possibilities could happen. But some of those could happen because they're obvious that they're happening. Okay, that's all I want to say.
And at y'all's
And the-
grown age.
And
we can
at our
see-
grown age,
we
that,
know
we
what
know
it
what that
looks
looks like. I hate to tell you. Moving on.
We did not get a top 9 this episode because the elimination is nigh. At time of recording and at time that you're watching, the elimination already happened, but we don't know what happened. We just know Jay is safe. Jay is Miss
13.
12.
Oh, 12.
Ma Jingxiang, Moon Jong-hyun, and Cha Won-gi could be 28 previously to 9 hours before closing ended.
Yeah, they're
And then-
basically 29, 28, or 28, 29, 30.
And then they were like, but everything drastically changed in the last 9 hours of voting. And then left it with Cha Won-gi literally bawling as if her
Sobbing.
daughter was just like pushed into the Nile.
Right, she made Sophie's choice. So just, what are we...
What are we doing?
You know what the worst part of this whole thing has been? The amount of people who were like, I never voted Cha Won-gi, but I did this one time because I was
I
so
felt
moved.
so bad.
I felt so bad about
Girl,
the situation.
it's too late.
No, girl. Where were you? Where were you in the front lines? Not there. The fact that we have had,
Where were you in the polls?
in
Where
the
were
first
you?
round of voting, you had 9 people you could have voted for every time.
now
In the
there's 6.
second, there were 6.
And now there's
And
gonna
there
be
were
1.
multiple days. There are hundreds of people you could have voted for at this point. You could have voted for everybody once, honestly. And you never, Cha Won-gi, not once, after all the entertainment.
After all
that
the
has been
entertainment
served.
she gave. Yeah.
I don't want to hear it from you. Anyway.
Anyway, that's on
moving
your
on.
hands.
That's on the blood is on your
The blood
hands.
is on your hands, Lady Macbeth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out, damn spot.
Okay. So we're gonna pick our 9s.
I look insane saying out, damn spot in
With
mini
your
ears. We're going to pick who of the 4 groups of each
Okay.
section we thought would have been number 1.
Okay, vocal rap. Although I would say Tomboy, I would also possibly say Man in Love would be a great number to show on M Countdown.
It's okay, so the answer is Tomboy, but like my second is Limousine.
Yeah.
I just thought it was like really strong, and I liked
And a breath of fresh air, too.
that they were all really even.
Yeah. Vocal
Vocal
dance.
Oh my god, this is insane. This is psycho, guys.
I'm going to pick Butterfly.
You're gonna pick Butterfly?
The only thing is because everyone in Love Killa, except for Sowan, I've already seen this from them previously. Okay, Butterfly, but put Sowan as Brian. learn it for like 3 days and then just do it on M countdown.
A swing, a literal swing.
Yeah.
I'm probably still gonna say love killa because I thought it was like the strong. I thought
Unified.
they were the
strong.
most fully complete.
Yeah. Finally, rap dance. I'm picking Zoom because Zoom for me gave entertainment.
Yeah, it's Zoom. It's
Zoom gave fun concept, and even though it wasn't like unified like Law, where it's like there's one visual, like visual language being seen
Yeah,
as the
I
group.
think that probably was in the room the problem.
Yeah, Zoom just felt like a drag race girl group where it's like now this person, now this person, now this person, but all of those people are fun. They all had great personalities.
Yeah, it's Zoom. I think probably in the room, it's just that everyone is like
impressed by like the wall of
like
talent that you
Law seems like an actual group of 5 members, like an actual boy group of 5 members, whereas like Zoom felt more like individual trainees working together on a project.
Yeah. So I know there are people that watch this that were there, so please tell us how the voting worked.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Tell us.
Okay.
Drop it in the comments. This week, I made it a challenge to myself because we don't know what the hell is going to happen. So what I did is I took the top 12 people, so everybody who got first from the audience votes, and I created Bepler from this. So this is like, from these 12 members, this is who my ideal Bepler is. In my 9th spot, I'm putting Yoon Jung-woo.
Solid.
Solid. From Home. I thought he was so good in that. In my 8th spot, I'm putting Ricky. Oh, God. I feel sick. Because there are, like, people that are in my normal Bepler that are not in this Bepler because they didn't get first. So,
yeah.
Okay. In my 7th spot, I'm putting Park Hanbin. In my 6th spot, I'm putting Chen Kwan Ri. Number 5 is going to Kim Taerae. Yeah, I'll say Kim Taerae. Number 4 is going to Lee Seung-won. Number 3 is Keita. Number 2 is Park Ji-hoo. And number 1 is Zhang Hao.
Oh, that's...
They might not necessarily be in like the order of my preference. It was just the order that I was looking at the screen, but I'm going to say that that's my 9th. So I didn't do...
You didn't do Jung Hee-chan.
I didn't do Kim Gyu-bin, and I didn't do Shuaibo.
Yeah,
those are the 3 I left out.
I would agree with that.
How are you doing?
Okay, so I also did a challenge, and for this week, I am picking only from the winners of the support. So we said last time that this is probably the closest we're gonna get to like one pick winners, even though you can like split up your support points to however many people. It just feels like the most like people are looking to just vote for one person because they just want to put as much points into one person. So I only picked from whoever won support in the second round. And I also feel the same way with Adam. My normal Bepler picks are not here. Harucho's not here, so I already feel sick. Okay.
Sick. It's not a Bepler I want to happen, but it's the Bepler that happened in the challenge, in the multiverse.
Yes, it lets us like get used to like we won't get our picks.
Right. I will never get my perfect 9.
So, okay. At number 9, I'm also picking Eun Jung-woo. Number 8, Wang Ji-hao. Give me like
crump.
Yes, give me crump. 7 is Kim Taerae.
Yes.
Strong vocal. Number 6 is Kong. Because Kong made support. So happy for Kong.
Support.
Number 5, Kim Ji-woong. She's back.
She was served with divorce papers, so she had to put her back in.
Number 4 was Seok Mak-chu. Number 3 is Keita. Number 2, Song Han-bin. And number 1, Zhang Hao. This was tough because I really wanted to put Hiroto in there. I would love to see a Bepler with a Hiroto energy. But I just couldn't pass up the opportunity to put Wang Ji-hao instead.
I'm going to be honest. Their variety show would suck. I have to be really honest.
There's not enough %.
No.
Haruto's not in there.
Haruto's not in there.
Woongi's
this is
not
what
in
I'm
there.
saying, guys. Like, you really need to think about it. Just think about it. Just think for more than 3 seconds. But that's why you balance them out with ultra fun, and I don't see ultra fun here.
Hope you enjoyed this crazy episode, and we'll see you next time. It's gonna be very grim the next episode because we're just going through the saddest eliminations I'm sure so far. So
we're gonna be going through trauma
together,
and it's good that we're in this together.
Yeah.
I feel sick. I feel bad.
You make me feel bad.
Dongun truly was the only one in that group who was like, why am I the only one popping my fucking pussy up here?
Adam, you can't say...
RJ wants everybody to know that we are not Disney gays.
Yeah, please don't we're only here for a wedding. We promise. There was just the 1 week, just the one weekend.
We promise we're not here for the parks.
Bye.
Discovering voices, building worlds. The Ampliverse.